This is Bill Osborne, City Manager. On this edition of On the Agenda, I'll be talking with a man with whom I've had a great deal of pleasure working over the last few years. But before I talk with Mayor Pro Tem Henry Mitchell III, I want to have an update for you on an event that we had talked about previously, namely the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival, coming up June 6-7 here in Douglasville. Join me today for On the Agenda. On the previous episode of On the Agenda, my guest was Suzanne Hudson, who's the co-chair of the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival. I've asked her to stop back by City Hall today because we're getting closer to the time of this first festival, namely Friday, Saturday, June 6 and 7. And Suzanne, it's great to have you to come back on the agenda, but refresh our memory a little bit of what's going to happen on June 6-7.
I'd love to. Well, the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival will be June the 6th, but that will just be the ball that night. And then Saturday is a giant festival in downtown. But I want to say that it is presented by the City of Douglasville, thank you, and the Douglas County.
Right.
Those are the presenters of the festival. Now we have a lot of other sponsors and a lot of other volunteers that we owe a lot of thank yous to.
Right.
But on the June the 7th, the festival will begin at noon on the courthouse lawn with a ribbon cutting.
Okay.
And then there will be a market with antiques, plants, and fine art. So shop, shop, shop. Bring your money. And then there will be garden tours in the daytime, garden tours at the evening, Moonlight Magnolias. That's the 10th annual Moonlight Magnolias. And music on 2 stages and great food.
Very good. Well, to our viewers, we're showing on the screen a telephone number and a website so you can get more information. Some of the events are free. A couple you would need a ticket for, but all of that can be pulled off the website. And, you know, along with the Douglas County government, the City of Douglasville certainly is delighted to be a sponsor. In fact, we showed our support by providing through our Convention and Visitors Bureau a check for $10,000 to you and your committee, because we believe this can really become a major tourist attraction for Douglasville, Douglas County. And this first festival, 2 days, we're expecting it to bring a lot of people to our community. In future years, even bigger festivals, more people, but all resulting in more tourism dollars coming into our community, as well as just having a wonderful event for our citizens. So I appreciate you coming back by today just to remind us, and to everybody, keep in mind the festival will be Friday night, Saturday, June 6-7. And again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Bill.
Hello everyone, I'm SAHANA reporting live from downtown Douglasville, where several Eastside Elementary School students are here to show you how to live it up downtown.
Come downtown to O'Neill Plaza for the Taste for Douglasville's Arts Festival. Or maybe you'd rather come for the spring concert.
Come downtown for the food, like seafood at Douglasville's finest Cajun Cafe, gumbos.
Come downtown to the theater in the Old Courthouse Museum to see a production by $1 players.
Come downtown to the Cultural Arts Center in the historic Robert Mosley House for art exhibits and concerts.
Or maybe you'd rather see a family or kid-friendly production.
There you have it. Eastside students really know how to live it up downtown. Why don't you plan a trip to downtown Douglasville where you can live it up too?
We're living it up downtown.
It's my privilege today to welcome to On the Agenda the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Douglasville, Henry Mitchell III. Welcome on the agenda.
Well, you know, Bill, I've always wanted to be on the agenda, so now here's my opportunity to be here. So again, I'm glad to be here and to be a part of the agenda.
Well, it's great to have you. There are a number of reasons why I'm glad to welcome you today. Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell was elected in 2001, November 2001, to the City Council, taking office in January of 2002. He's had an excellent career on the City Council, has been certainly a credit to the city for 6 years, plus more than 6 years.
Yes.
He's been the Mayor Pro Tem for more than 4 years, meaning that he's second in command to Mayor Thompson on the council. Done a great job with his committees. Has been an outstanding leader in his community on the north side. Certainly has been a pleasure to work with. Has been a big supporter of the city manager, which I certainly appreciate, and has been a good friend. And so for a lot of reasons, welcome today to On the Agenda.
Well, you know, Bill, all of this couldn't have been done without the great support of the staff and you and the mayor and council and the constituents on the north side, and most of all, the constituents throughout the city of Douglasville. This is how it all came about. It's just that support is what made Henry Mitchell III, Henry Mitchell III.
Right. Well, you know, as we start today's program, we're on City TV, and of course, City TV came about because Mayor Thompson and members of the City Council, especially yourself, had this dream that we would work toward having a television station for the city. Of course, City TV comes under the jurisdiction of a committee that you chair, the Information Technology Committee, so that from an oversight standpoint, your committee is responsible for looking at City TV. And I guess as you look at how all of this has transpired, we could say that you're one of the godfathers of City TV.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, but I do. I think it's wonderful to be a part of a committee that brought this to our constituency, because it was important that people get a chance to, if you can't make the meetings because of your work schedule, if you can't do certain things and want to know what's happening in city government, those tax dollars that are being spent, I thought it was important, the mayor and I and the council, to bring about City TV. And with the help of our great staff, Ms. Hunter, who we brought on board, who made this reality, just made it happen for us all. So I think it's a wonderful project that we took on. It was a baby that we burped, and now it's becoming a child, and it's a nice child to see us sitting here on City TV, and it's a wonderful situation for our constituency.
Right. I agree. You know, for people who are watching today, and if they have a good discernment of voices, they probably have determined that you're the voice that they hear on introducing the On the Agenda program and some of the other programs on City TV. And of course, you're no stranger to doing this, because you worked in radio for a number of years. In fact, Atlanta station WAOK, but when you were on WAOK, you kind of flipped your name around a little bit, so that you were not Henry Mitchell III the way that we know you. You were Mitch Henry. So tell us how Mitch Henry sounded on WAOK.
See, I knew you would do that, Bill. I knew you would do that. Ms. Hunter put me out to do that, and she said, okay, Henry, I need a voice for the TV station. I said, sure, and I was more than willing to do this, to be a part of City TV. But it all came about that radio world of voiceovers and TV voiceovers and all that good stuff, and here I am doing City TV, so I'm more than honored. Now, how's it done? Once you take the voice through all the process of processing that voice and making it sound big, I'm just a little bitty guy. It just sounds big. I don't know, did it sound big?
So when you were on AOK, people, when they heard Mitch Henry, they thought they were looking at a 6'4", 250-pound linebacker.
You know, you never look like you sound. They always say, is that you? Yeah, that's me, and that's my voice. But yeah, I picked it up on sale at a blue light special at Kmart. So if you're looking for one, go grab you one.
Well, you know, I'm sure some of our visitors, some of our viewers heard you on WAOK down through the years. And of course on City TV, you did a program during Black History Month talking with some long-time Douglasville, Douglas County residents about their experiences. And of course, you've been around in Douglasville for a long time, so tell us a little bit about your earlier years, about your family, and about how you've been spending your time over the last few years, other than the political side, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Well, let's start with my lovely wife. My lovely wife, Nobi Mitchell, who we have 3 kids and been married for many years, and was born and raised in Atlanta, Northeast Atlanta, attended high school at Henry Grady High School. They named the school after me. I'm just kidding. But Henry Grady High School, I attended school. I went off to the military and did some military time and up in Hawaii. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. You know, you remember watching that program, Hawaii Five-0? Yeah. So I always dreamed of going to Hawaii. So I had a chance to do my military duty in Hawaii. From there, I got into radio and TV. Voiceover stuff, and went to a school called Columbia School of Broadcasting. After doing that, got into radio, went back and got my degree in business administration, and here I am now in politics. But if you was raised in that northeast Atlanta side of town where you had the SCLC, the NAACP, and all those, and the King Center,
Right.
that's where it all came about. I think that's how it started to evolve of me getting into politics. So that's kind of my life, or my short story of Henry Mitchell III.
Very good. And of course, you, a very busy man, a couple of community points of interest that we'll talk about during this program. One's the Northside Initiative that you were the founder of, and the other is the Multicultural Back to School Enrichment Festival.
That's correct.
And let's talk a minute about the Northside Initiative. Tell us about that.
Well, the Northside Community Initiative was something I listened to the general public and the citizens of the North Side, and also the city of Douglasville, in incorporating some means of communication through city government, or that liaison between city government and them, because they felt as though they didn't have any connect. So we came with the North Side Community Initiative and connecting the citizens with the government and what was happening in the government. Luckily, I've been the chairman all these years, but I'm there on the city council, and Rochelle Robinson was a part of this as well. We all sit on the council, and we also brought the information back to the citizens firsthand, so they had an opportunity to know exactly what was happening in their government, where their tax dollars were being spent. And I thought that was important, because in my campaign run in 2001, it was about communications.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that the citizens not only knew what was going on, but the government knew what the citizens were asking for. So that's what the Northside Community Initiative all came about.
Right. And I know from having been to some of your meetings that you had a number of people involved. A lot of things did take place on improving communications.
That is correct.
And a lot of improvements were made on the North Side. And, you know, if we look at the North Side, one of the things at the moment that we've had a lot of discussion about is the relocation of Georgia Highway 92. And the plan, of course, is for the Highway 92 as it comes south, just south of the fire station.
Correct.
To go to the east, kind of skirt along Brown Street, go underneath the railroad and Strickland Street and Broad Street near where the old mill is, tie into 92, the Fairburn Road around Hospital Drive. Of course, Dallas Highway would still be as there's a street, and we would have an underpass still, so that people could go from the, we'd have a way from traffic from the north side to get to downtown, not the dangerous crossing we have now, but a little to the west where McCarley Street crossing is, right across from O'Neill Plaza. But as you look at this project and what it could mean for the North Side from an economic development standpoint, I know you've got some thoughts on this. Share those with us if you would.
Well, when we came about the Highway 92 bypass, which we visited Washington, that's during that era with Rita Rainwater and the mayor and all of us, and Rochelle, we went to Washington and we talked about this from a safety perspective. The Northside Community Initiative thought this was a great project to help. See, the main thing, what was this all about, was to make sure that the north side had an opportunity to get across the track even when the train was coming or going or stopped or stalled or whatever the case may be. So it was important to make sure you were able to get across the track, whether it's a public safety perspective or fire situation or just, I want to get over and get to McDonald's. So it was important to get across the track. In doing such, we had to come up with some means of getting across the tracks. Even though some of the crossings had to be closed to make this happen from a safety perspective, overall, it was so important to the north side to be getting across the track at any given time, not at the only time when the train was not there or coming. So this project has been a great project for the north side, and with the infrastructure that will be laid for this, it would only enhance the north side, and I think the north side residents understand that, and now they want to make this project happen.
Right. And you know, and on the Highway 92 relocation project, there will be some more public hearings scheduled later in the calendar year. Correct. We anticipate by GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation. The city has completed its part of this project with the right-of-way or with plans being developed for where the right-of-way will be. the environmental, and now GDOT needs to come in to acquire the right-of-way and construct the road. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be talking more with Mayor Pro Tem Mitchell about some of his activities on the City Council. I'm talking today with City Councilman Henry Mitchell III. He's been elected by his colleagues for 4 straight years to serve as Mayor Pro Tem. That's quite an honor. That means that he's second in command to the mayor, and he serves as mayor when the mayor is out of town or cannot be involved with meetings or other activities. So 4 years in a row. How'd you manage that?
Well, I think my colleagues on the council trust and entrust me to actually lead and take charge of the city in the absence of the mayor. And I think that's an honor to hold such a seat. They felt strongly about someone who was not controversial, but yet understanding. They want someone who they can trust, and someone whom, if the mayor didn't agree or they did agree, and how do we come to that happy medium point? So I think me being that person who's understanding and willing to talk and look at both sides of the coins and decide on which is the best interest of the city to make this happen, then they picked me to be that guy. So I'm honored to even sit there, and I always ask the question why, but they always tell me, you are the one who can at least talk to the mayor at any given time, whether it's a heated situation or a calm situation. And also there's the council side where there are some unique things that happens where they want what they want, and how do you have that happy medium, and I think they feel I was the guy to make that happen. So.
Right. Well, that shows a lot of leadership, I think.
Yes.
And another example of your leadership, I think, is the fact that Mayor Thompson, for the past 7 years, has appointed you to be the chairman of the Finance Committee. And in that position, you've worked with the mayor, with me, with our finance director on looking at how we manage the city's money, developing sound budgets, following good sound principles in expenditure of funds, having good fiscal policies and practices. And I think we have a good team on fiscal management, and I think that's shown by the fact that in recent years, independent audits have said that the city's financial position is sound and stable. How about some comments on being chairman of the Finance Committee?
Well, it's an honor to have served 7 straight years. And I don't know, Bill, you might tell me, is this history for someone like myself to have served on such a committee for 7 straight years? Normally it kind of changes every 2 to 3 years or so, but to serve 7 straight years and deal with the finances. Now, people talk about that's a powerful committee. I never tend to understand that, but however, it must be that, which if you control the dollars and everybody who need whatever that which they need, like City TV needs dollars to actually make TV, City TV. So everything had to come through finance or through the dollars. So I guess it's an honor to have actually received the government this award, Certificate of Achievement. That's a big award to receive in 2006. But it only gets better because we kept raising the bar on what it is that we need to do in finance to make sure the budgets are balanced, make sure that the department heads get the projects that they're trying to get, and make sure they're funded. Right. It was important to be funded, not just the fact of just having money. But I think we're in the best shape now with me moving and leaving out of the city government now. We're in the best shape that I think we've been in many years when it comes to finance.
And you mentioned the award, and of course our finance director, Karen Callan, was awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Municipal Finance Association of the United States and Canada. And this is a great honor, and certainly so. You know, in addition, for 6+ years, the time you've been on the council, you also have headed up the committee that's dealt with technology. Now, in the beginning, that was part of the Finance and Personnel Committee that you chaired in your first couple of years. That's correct. And then we kind of split personnel away from that, divided up the committees, but in addition to heading up the Finance Committee, you headed up the Telecommunications Committee, and of course now it's known as the Information Technology Committee. That's correct, yes. And in the beginning, of course, that committee dealt with such things as our telephone system, our security system, our computer system, our radio communication system. Later we added the internet, and And then, of course, we said, let's have a plan so we can videotape city council meetings and show them on the county's government access channel. But rather than that, we ended up creating City TV, which, of course, is part of the Information Technology Committee. And, of course, City TV, currently, we're on 4 times a week, Tuesday through Friday. On Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, on Wednesdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Comcast Channel 25, so people who are watching this that may not know what the schedule is, they can tune in. And, you know, we're looking forward to the time that we're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on a digital channel. But tell us about where you think we are and where we're headed with City TV.
You know, I remember when City TV was talked about, and even before Ms. Hunter and the staff days of actually City TV, we talked about videotaping and actually taking it to the county, which we know as Channel 23, and at least getting our constituents the information they needed to see to know what actually was happening in city government. And doing such, it kind of evolved after talking with the mayor and council in our constituency about how would they like to see their own. We've always had a channel, remember, on Comcast. However, we just never used it to this degree. But we thought it was more important to not just run a DVD to Channel 23, which would have been the county, but it was more important for us to graduate and have our own city TV so people can have access to us, have information on city government, and know exactly what is happening with their tax dollars at the flick of turning on TV 25. That was important, and that's how it all evolved. It started with the fact of just trying to at least get on TV, but it evolved to City TV, and that's what we have now today.
Right. You know, another area that's in your Information Technology Committee is the radio communication system. Chief Winsett and I were on several months ago talking about the need to improve our radio communications for public safety so that as our officers are in pursuits into Atlanta, Fulton County, we've been working with Cobb County for several years to make sure that both of our local governments, the coverage area was very good. Recently did some new things there, but that's part of your committee. And I know our officers are delighted that very recently we were able to say, okay, we will have good communications as you're involved in those chases into Atlanta. And of course, another part of our Information Technology Committee that you've really been the pushing force on this is what we talk about, the paperless agenda for the City Council. So, you know, I've been preparing these big workbooks for years. People who watch the council meetings on City TV, they'll know that we've got these big binders, and they may be 2 to 4 inches thick on any one meeting, but we're getting ready to go paperless. Just give us a quick rundown on that.
Well, we have the big books, and I think you guys that are watching and viewers are seeing us on City TV, and you see these big books, and Bill and the staff run around trying to get these things to us and information to us. But we want to become more efficient, and my question to that was, let's become more efficient, save dollars, and help stretch and spend the taxpayers' dollars in a better fashion. And doing such, we came with this paperless agenda. Now we'll all have computers and laptops, and we'll get the information just by the flick of a mouse. And that information will come to us via the internet. We are safety cautious about what we're dealing with, but I think it's more important that the staff will be able now to actually get us what we call, what you now used to, these big books, but now on the computer, that we'll have the information at the drop of a mouse and have it so we can read it, study it, know what that needs to be changed, any addition that we want to add to these particular projects, and we'll know it firsthand. So I think it's a huge benefit to City TV, to city government, to the city of Douglasville, to have this paperless agenda. I'm going out when these guys are actually getting ready to put this in play, but it was instrumental of me and the mayor and council to start this ball rolling, to get this paperless agenda, to make us more efficient and an efficient government. I think this is what we're going to do, and this is where it all starts from.
Right. You know, we could talk longer about your city council activities, but time's getting away from us, and I haven't forgotten that we talked about 2 community initiatives earlier.
Yes.
That and the one that we haven't talked about, of course, is a multicultural enrichment back to school festival that I know has involved hundreds of volunteers and A lot of kids, I know, look forward to this. Tell us about what that event.
Well, it's a spinoff from the Northside Community Initiative, and what it did, we felt strongly that the key to success is that you've got to have a place to start. And the Northside Community Initiative came up with the Multicultural Enrichment Back to Schools Festival, where we actually went out and solicited business, and they were very supportive of this. Solicit funds from businesses, solicit items from businesses that help buy the school supplies to give our kids a starting point. And this was for the entire county now. It wasn't just strictly for the city of Douglasville, for the entire county. And the key to it was giving them a starting point. So when they start off in school, they'll have at least the supplies that are needed to get them started, to get them in the school system, to get them understanding the things that were needed in the supplies department, that they'll have plenty of book bags, school supplies, paper and pens and all that good stuff, so they can have a great start. Because I think if you have a great start at the system, then you'll have a better longevity in the system. So that's why we came up with this Multicultural Enrichment Back to School Festival. And so far, it's been a huge success. The Saturday before school starts every year, we do this festival. We do a celebrity basketball game where I get the radio stations involved, and all the celebrities come out and play basketball and raise even more monies. I mean, all the celebrities come out and give away bikes and helmets, and Save Kids as a part of it. Just so many organizations that are part of it that really made this come to life, and I think the kids are the ones who benefit.
Right. Well, you know, a few years ago you decided to add a walkathon as one of the fundraisers, and I entered the walkathon, but I didn't walk the whole way. But you go the extra mile with things, and you have done a great job on the city council. And as we close, I want to point out to our viewers, now we're taping this on the agenda program in mid-April. It will be shown in May. You've made a couple of references during this program to As You Leave and so forth, and that's because you're in the process of resigning from the city council after 6 years of diligent service, and you're doing that because you're a candidate for running for public office, namely the Douglas County Tax Commissioner, and you can't serve in one public office and run for another. And of course, state law won't let you make a campaign speech on a program like this, but certainly as we close, you can make some comments to the people that you've served in the past as Mayor Pro Tem and member of the City Council.
Yes, Bill, let me say this. As Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Douglasville, and to all my constituents, I mean, it's been a wonderful time serving you as your public servant. With the Clark Gerwe Building Computer Lab, to the Multicultural Enrichment Back to School Festival, to the fact of me being able to serve you as a public servant, it's been a really nice run. I've enjoyed this. It's a tough one to move on into greater things. However, I think as your vice mayor and as your public servant, I think you guys will be left in the best of hands. To the staff and to Bill and you and the staff, I think you guys have done an excellent job when it comes to working with the mayor and council. I know we've had our unique moments. We have. However, but in the end, we got the goals that we wanted to accomplish. We got those things accomplished. So that's what's important. I think financially, we're sitting in the best shape as a city with the untouchable funds, as we know of. Those funds are sitting there, and in the case of an emergency, we've got those funds. We've balanced many budgets, and I think in the end, when we finish and when all the smoke clears, I think you'll find that we, the mayor and council, have done an excellent job, and I'm just glad to be a part of that. Again, thank you.
Well, personally, I wish you the very best in all the years to come. It's been a pleasure to serve you, and I appreciate the support that you've given me. And I think certainly the citizens of Douglasville would join me in thanking you for a job well done.
Well, I thank you, Bill, and I really appreciate being a part of the agenda. Now, at least I can say at least once I've been on the agenda. I feel good.
It's been a pleasure to have you with me today.
Thank you, Bill.
I want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Henry Mitchell III for being with me today on the agenda. Councilman Mitchell has served as Mayor Pro Tem for the past 4 years, having been elected to that position by his colleagues. I appreciate him coming by today, as well as Suzanne Hudson, to give us an update on the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival. Keep in mind this festival is June 6-7 here in the city of Douglasville. This is Bill Osborne signing off from On the Agenda.